Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Consciousness with your luscious hostess, May Vu, broadcasting live every Monday at 12 noon Pacific Time.
Hello, everyone. This is May, and today is actually on Thursday. My broadcasting schedule has been screwy lately. I'm in the middle of rebranding this show. It used to be, it still is known as Sex, Lies, and Consciousness, but I think I'm going to move it and change it to what I call hot love. What I find is even though people really like the name Sex, Lies, and Consciousness, but most people, when it comes to sex, they don't want consciousness, they want sex. And I'm more about consciousness and busting up lies instead of just about titillating sex. So I will still be talking about sex. I will still be talking about relationship. I will still be having deep, wonderful conversation. But I'm going to focus more on like how to help us create hot love in our life. That is what everyone wants. That is also very fun to play with and to explore because it's really complex. As you can hear in the background, I have my guests, Ben and Jen Rohde, and their baby Bella. And it's hot love, baby. They're ready to come on, and I'm just going to bring them on. Come on in, Ben and Jen, and Bella.
Hi, May. Bella says hi.
Yeah, she's still in the show today.
No worry, and she gets to cry her way through it. And it's part of this conversation, right? So let me just do a little introduction of Ben and Jen Rohde, and then you guys can expand on your introduction. I've known Ben and Jen for maybe about 2 years now. We're going on 2, maybe.
You've known me for about 2 years, but I haven't even known Jen for 2 years. So
there you go. Exactly. I know. I was writing up the show and describing you guys, and I said Ben and Jen met, came together, fell in love, got married, quit their job, created a brand new business, became like the world-renowned sexual healers, and have a baby, all in less than 2 years.
Yep. There we are.
There they are. So it really does speak to your love and your what I've heard you call your relationship, your twin flames dynamic. So I want to explore all of that today, and just to really dive into like what makes your love hot, and what do you do to cultivate hot love with each other and how to sustain it, especially with baby Bella, right? Smack in the center of it all, right? So it's a big thing. So we'll start slow. So why don't you guys just like say a little bit more about yourself and your relationship, and then we'll dive in.
Oh, wow. Thanks, May. Thanks for the introduction. There's so much that's coming up. Ben and I are twin flames, and you know this better than most people that, how much we've been through and worked through together and how much we hold each other accountable and call one another on each other's bullshit. And I think that's actually a huge part of why we're doing so well now. But I mean, it was really, really difficult in the beginning.
Yeah, you were actually one of the few people who got to hear like firsthand how fucking crazy we were going.
Horrible. Yeah.
I called you and I was like, May, I can't fucking stand her. She's fucking crazy. She's being a psycho. All
that good stuff. So I mean, with Ben and I mean, we've seen the worst in each other. We've seen the best in each other too, and we choose daily to bring out the best in each other. And it doesn't mean our egos never come out anymore, but we choose to, we kind of destroyed each other's egos in a really big way, and we support each other on our path and our purpose. And I mean, we do everything together. We are partners in every way. So. We're partners in the bedroom, we're partners in our parenting, we're partners in our business life. And, if one aspect of our life isn't working, no aspects of our life are working. So, I mean, we have to make it work, and we have to do our own work. And we have to do the hard shit to make it work, so.
Yeah, and what she said about partnership is big, is because one of the things that we've noticed in our own relationship is that there was a lot of adversarial stuff. It was there was no partnership.
Right, there's you against me and me against you.
Yeah, and if I want what I want, then you can't have what you want. And if I give her what she wants, I can't have what I want. But we both want the same thing, right? Ultimately, we both want to be happy, and passionate, and
we both had to give up
abundant.
being right in order to be happy, because neither of us are right. We could argue till the cows come home, but neither of us are right. So.
Yeah, and so it was about giving that up. And
Okay. I got to jump in here because
Yeah.
I mean, literally, Jen, just by what you just said, that's the whole show, and it actually could go into several other episodes if we're going to tease it out, you know. So now I'm going to go back and like slowly pull each piece out here. And so Ben, you put your finger on the partnership part first. So let's play there, because what I heard you said was, in the beginning it was adversarial, and I want what I want, and she wants what she wants, and it's always competing for wants and for wants and needs, right? And I'm slowing it down because I hear this with my clients all the time, that it's like, well, he wants what he wants, and why can't, it has to be fair between us, and it's kind of like there are 10 marbles, and we have to divide it fairly, you get 5 and I get 5, and if one of mine go over there, then you better give it back to me, today or tomorrow or something like that.
Right.
And we're so unconscious about that.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, so what we do is I give her all of my marbles. I give her all 10 of my marbles, and she gives me all 10 of her marbles. I give her everything I have, and I give her everything she wants. And she gives me everything she has and everything I want. I mean, there is nothing that she could ask for that I would not give her. And the same thing goes for if I ask her for something, even if it's hard for us, we look inside ourselves and say, why is this hard for me to want to give her? And then say, okay, and then process through that and say, okay, I want to be able to give that to her. So we had a conversation the other day about, we love going to events. We go to events all the time, and I love going to business workshops, business events, healing workshops, and learning new skills and new tools and new certifications and stuff like that. And she doesn't really like to go to the ones that I go to, but she goes to all of them anyway because she wants to be with me, because I want her to be with me. And then she was signing up for a workshop with Doreen Virtue that I didn't really care about, and I was like, well,
come on, it's with the angels. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and so the angels are her thing, right? And I was like, no, I'll just stay home. We'll save the money, and instead of buying 2 tickets, I'll stay home with the baby. And she was like, I really want you to come with me. Even though you don't want to go, I would like for you to come with me. And I was like, well, shit, that's a whole day of me sitting around talking about some fucking angels, and I could be home answering emails and business stuff and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that was inside my head. Outside my head, I said, yeah, baby, I'll do whatever you want. And that's what's important. And
well, hang on a second. It's not as simple as you say, because I've also been, and personally myself, been in my marriage where my husband gave me everything I want, and I give him everything that I want.
So this is a good point.
Right? And then we became depleted. We lose ourselves in the relationship. So the question is, how do you give her all of your marbles and not lose your mind? Ha ha, I'm crossing metaphor now.
Great. That's a great question. Ooh, that was good, May.
And not lose your marbles.
That's so good. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, how do you do that and not become fat as a man who always roll over to what your woman wants? Yes. And how do you do that as a woman to give it to your man what he wants and not become a doormat? Because, hey, baby, this is what's real out there. Men became sap and women became all pissed at each other.
This is so good. So like I said, the key is looking inside and saying, why do I need this, or why do I want this, or why do I not want this, right? And then coming to a place where I can accept what she wants to do, and not only accept it, but be excited about what she wants for her, and then find a way for me to be excited about it for me. So now I was excited about it because, I actually get to go spend the full day with my wife and maybe learn something that I didn't know before. you know.
And I just want to chime in too to that. Like, the things that I don't want to do are outside of my comfort zone. So I have a hard time in big groups of people because I'm so sensitive to energy. And at the same time, you know, it's good for me to get outside of my comfort zone. That's where our growth is. That's where our expansion is, right? It's doing things that we aren't necessarily comfortable with or don't necessarily want to do. So, I mean, we did a networking event recently that he really wanted to go to, and then I was like, oh, I don't really want to go to this. And I went, and I ended up loving it. It surprised myself. I had an amazing time. We met amazing people, and that doesn't mean that parts of it weren't challenging for me. But I was, in the end, I was really glad that I had gone, and I learned a lot from it. And so, you know, anything that I'm having resistance to, I'm going inside. I'm asking myself why I'm having resistance, where the resistance is coming from, and I trust him. Like, I trust Ben to know, you know, to see the sides of myself that maybe need work and expansion, and he trusts me to do that for him as well.
Yeah, and I'll go into the part where you were talking about, May, about like how do we do this without feeling depleted. Bella just learn how to make new noises.
I love it.
She discovered her voice, so she's not actually being fussy. She's just like, hey, look at this noise I can make.
She's having her own radio show right now, so there she goes.
I love it. So what you were saying about how do we do this without being depleted? So this isn't about like bending over backwards.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't about like me like saying, fine, I'll give you all my marbles. I'm going to submit to you and bow down to you and do whatever you want from this place of blah, blah, blah. No, it's I will submit to you and give you whatever you want because that's what I want for you. I want you to have whatever you want, everything you've always wanted from my place of power.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Not from a place of saying fine or, you know, I can't have it any other way.
Yeah, it's like let's get this straight. You know, we're going to underline this. Resignation, people. Resignation never gets you the hot love that you're looking for. Even though it looks like you're trying so hard, right? I think what you're saying that I really underlined was how. What does this mean to her, and how do I make this my own? So in other words, I heard you said, you know, when I say yes to doing what Ben wants me to do or what Jen wants me to do, first I think, why does she want this? Why does he want this so that I can honor that fully? And then it doesn't stop there, but then you then take that information, that invitation, and make it your own so that. And how, if I'm going to say yes to this, how is this my decision now? How is this going to serve me and my growth and my life rather than just coercing or resigning, you know, like so many husbands, right, come to what the wife wants to do and they just sit there like a lump in the back and everybody feels uncomfortable around them and everybody knows that he's been coerced to coming. No, we don't want that. Please don't do that. I'd rather you stay home.
Exactly. And then So when I ask Jen to go to an event, if she really, like, if I really want her to go and she really doesn't want to go, then I find a way to really be okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, I say, okay, you know what? If she really doesn't want to go, then she really needs to recharge and be home with the baby. Yeah. And I'm going to go rock this event on myself. I'm going to go have so much fun at this event with myself. And because you're right, there's no point in me getting what I want, which is her at the event, if she's still going to not want it, right?
Right.
So I want her to stand in her I don't want it if that's what she wants.
Yeah.
You know?
And I love what Jen said, you know, the thing about I trust him. I trust him to guide me. I trust her to guide me. I trust him to see the part of me that I don't want to be disturbed, but really I need to disturb that part of me so that I can keep growing and stretching.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So beautiful. So beautiful.
I love it. And that's actually how we know if we need to do something is if we are resistant to it.
Yeah.
If Jen's like, this is what you need to meditate every day. Your guides are telling me you need to meditate every day, and I'm like, what? Fuck that.
Fuck you and your guides.
Yeah. like that's how I know that's what I need to do it, because it's not a part of my reality, and I want to bring that into my reality so that I can have a more full experience of this life, this world.
And that's actually become a big part of our compass too. He had a recommendation for me to do some shadow work with his shaman, and I had a lot of resistance to it. I noticed like all the resistance bubbling up in my body. Yep. And it was interesting because what I actually said was, I do not want to do that. That is the last thing that I want to do. And thank you. I know that that's what I need to do, and that's what I need to work on because of all this resistance. So, other things might come up where, he might suggest something and I'd say, no, that's not really the right fit. And there isn't the resistance there isn't the charge on it. So I actually look at the charge, look at the resistance, and both of us are doing this now. And if it's there, then that's a clear compass of that's somewhere that we need to go.
Nice. And I want to expand on another point of this partnership. I mean, it's so interesting. It's like I hear you guys said it, you claim it, like we're partners in everything: babies, household, business, sex, bedroom, outside the bedroom, wherever we go, we're partners. And I'm a little impressed with that energy, like the level of commitment and all-inness of that, of where you stand is quite impressive, because I think that could be also something that is missing in a lot of partnerships out there, is that we say we're partners, but we're not. We're not in this way, or we're not in that way.
Right, we're partnership in one way, but not in another way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see myself doing that in the past. It's like, I'm partnership to myself first and foremost, and then I'm partners with other people at my convenience or at my advantage. But to hear you say we're partners in everything, there's a subtle difference here that I want to tease out.
Great.
Awesome. And you know what? We're even partners when we fight. Even when we have an argument, we're partners. So what we do when both of our egos are being out of control, if I can't get my ego under wraps, to hold space for her, to have whatever's going on with her, and if she can't get her ego under control to handle me, and both of our egos are just going, what we do is we notice that, and she comes and turns around and sits in my lap. And so if, let's say we're on the bed or on a chair, she'll come so that her back is on my chest, and we're looking in the same direction. And I hold her, even if we don't want to be around each other. I hold her, and she lets herself be held. And we talk about, okay, what is it that we really want right now? What's really happening?
And there's something energetically, that piece of actually looking in the same direction. Connection, that's huge, rather than face-to-face, which is opposing.
Adversarial.
Totally.
Adversarial, it shifts the energy.
Yeah, and the back, and your back against his chest, everything, and your willingness to, that is surrendering, right? You're so angry, and all you want to do is bash each other's head out, or leave, or say, fuck you, I'm out of here for good, right? But to submit, to surrender to that, from that fighting, and to just come and sit on each other's lap like that, and just to take that first step of surrendering is huge.
Yeah.
Right, and it's physical, and in fact, it's probably better than talking about it.
Yes, and it took us so long to get there.
Oh, shut up! You've been together less than 2 years. It did not take you that long to get it.
It took a third of our relationship.
Oh, come on! Oh, yeah. Okay, a year and a half to figure that out. Oh, woe is you!
I still say, that's so funny that you say that. I know you, so I knew I could hear you saying that before you even said that. What I will say is that time doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
And that, we're in this linear dimension and we are experiencing things in time. But we, in that few months where we were almost killing each other, we lived lifetimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, in time, in real time, it wasn't very long.
So you, May, you've known me for somewhere between 3 and 5 years. And even from 1 year ago, even from 1.5 years ago, even from 2 years ago, you know that I'm a different person, right? Jen killed the old me.
hang on a second. There's one more thing I wanted to grab before we go to this whole killing each other's ego, because that's such an important piece too. I have it down here that we're going to go to that one, but I wanted to finish this partnership back, because one of the things that I heard from growing up with my mother and father, watching their relationship, and then repeating it myself and finding out that way of being doesn't really work. I still have a trace of that, and then seeing it in a lot of my couple clients, is that there is a place where we keep pulling the card. That's it. I'm going to divorce. I want to divorce. Like my mother, ever since I was conscious enough to remember anything, every time she has a fight, she would end up with mumbling or saying to herself or saying out loud, that's it, I want to divorce. She never did divorce the man, by the way, and I pray every night that she would already, because after a while I got tired of that line. Right. And, and I find myself using that same card when I was in my previous relationship, and it really does do something terrible to a relationship. And now I hear that in my clients too. They're going through some big stuff, and every cycle that they go through, they're like, that's it. I've had it. I want to divorce. I want out of here. It's better to be out. And I'm like, wait a second. So there's something about this that I want to bust up.
Great. So divorce isn't a bad thing. It's just bad to use it as something to hurt the other person, right?
Yeah, or an out.
Yeah. So in that way, if I'm going to get a divorce,
or I'm going to divorce you.
Yeah. So I've said that to Jen, and really what it was a way to push her away.
Yeah.
I said that on our wedding night. And we got married, we came home, had a party, and we had a fight, and I said I'm going to get a fucking annulment. And but it was all a way for me to push her away, and that's the thing. It's like if you want a divorce, get a divorce.
Yeah.
It's get a divorce or don't get a divorce. Don't use it as a threat, because that's no way to have a relationship. You can't have a relationship. The other person is not going to open up to you and give themselves to you if the other person's threatening to leave the entire time.
Yeah, keep using that card like that's your last card. That it's a control mechanism and a manipulation mechanism. It's not real, like you said. Really, if you want a divorce, then by all means tomorrow go get that done.
Yeah, and actually there was a point. So Jen kept saying she was going to leave me too.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was one point where I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to get the forms, and you can fill them out if you want to. Do it or don't do it. Stop threatening me with it.
Nice.
And neither of us really meant it.
Yeah, it was all bullshit.
Which makes it worse, because that's not something that you want to throw around if you don't really mean it.
Yeah, it's the worst thing you can possibly say.
Exactly, and it just erodes everything down. And if you have children, it creates such a sense of insecurity and uncertainty and confusion. It's like, what the hell is this thing? Really, I didn't know you could just walk away that easily.
Yeah, it's abusive. It's abusive, and what it is it's how do I even put this? So the person by me saying to Jen, I'm going to divorce you, and then not doing it, I am showing her that I am somebody who's weak and doesn't follow through with my word, and who doesn't have the strength to leave this relationship, even though I'm saying I want to. And what does that do to her, knowing that her husband is this guy who doesn't follow through and who doesn't get what he wants or doesn't go for what he wants or says he wants or what's good for him?
Yeah, there's no trust. There's no trust.
There's no trust. There's no commitment. There's no surrender.
No.
Yep. Okay, now let's go to the destroying each other's ego. That's a pretty damn big statement.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean by that?
I mean that's what happens when you drive each other crazy and don't get a divorce. And what's the word said? So that's the thing is, we were coming up against all of our bullshit. Mm-hmm. So by the time I met Jen, I thought I was perfect. By anybody's standards, I had my shit together seemingly. I could hold a room. I had a job I loved. I I was making a decent amount of money. I had the relationships that I wanted, the fast food relationships I wanted.
You can get any woman you want relatively, right?
Yeah, by anybody's standards, I had it all.
Yeah.
Because I had swept under the rug all the deep shit, all the real shit that I thought I'd worked through. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I worked through that. I did all hypnotherapy, NLP. I did all the work. I did all the landmark. I did everything, you know. And so as soon as I met Jen, she pulled it all out of me. She pulled that fucking rug up, and she took the leaf blower and blew all that dust all over the place, all the dirt.
Like what? Like give us a couple of things that was like, hey, I thought I got that handle, and yet I didn't. Yeah.
So my deepest, darkest secret, my rage stuff. So I was raised with a dad who had rage issues and would beat the hell out of me, and so I took that on, and I took on the rage stuff, and so. In my younger days, that's who I was. I was the guy that would go into rages, and everyone was afraid of him. And I put the fear of God into people. And I didn't want to be that anymore because it made me unhappy. And so I learned what I needed to do to, I'm using quotes, fix it.
Yeah.
But,
manage it.
Manage it. Yeah. Cover it up.
Yeah.
And so when Jen came into my life, she knew exactly, and we were so connected, she knew exactly which buttons to push, and all this shit came right back up. And I would throw things and break things and yell and scream and...
Hang on a second. The way you said that feels a little funny to me. So let me just check this out first. Okay. When you said she knew the button, she pushed it, it sounds manipulative, and it sounds like she sits there and she goes, oh, there's a button, I'm going to push it. Is it really that, Jen, or is that you're just being who you are, and then these things happen, and then Ben has to see that, oh my gosh, I got to do some work here?
That's a good question. That's a good point. Twin flame relationship, which is different than soulmate relationship, we are hardwired to trigger each other. Like hardwired. Like a mechanism is actually built into our karmic contract to hardwire to trigger. So I was absolutely saying things to trigger. Like I could feel and sense in his body that he had rage that wasn't being let out. And so I could say things and push him to get him to that point. Absolutely. Because I knew it was there. I knew it was there, and it was like, you can't hide this from me. I can feel it, right? Like, good luck hiding it, because I can feel it. I sense it. I know it's there. Don't pretend. You can't be fake around a twin flame. You can't hide anything. It's the ultimate vulnerability. So both of us had gotten really good at hiding these things from other people, and nobody else would have really noticed it, But he couldn't hide that from me, and I couldn't hide my shit from him either. I had been in a 5.5-year relationship that everybody thought was perfect. He was my best friend. I loved him dearly. But, there were things that weren't working. We couldn't go deep into a vulnerability with our sex life, and eventually our sex life really started suffering because of that. And I didn't want to work through, I'd done a lot of work around my sexual abuse stuff, and there was still more work to be done. Ben was the last piece for me. And it was the really deep shadow work I didn't want to go into. I didn't want to let myself be really open and vulnerable and really actually connect with someone physically, because there was so much pain there. There was a period of time where, I didn't really like cuddling. Like I would do a quick cuddle and then I'd be done and I'd want to move away, and I would feel nauseous if he would get too close to me. I would literally have a body reaction. I would feel nauseous. I would feel sick to my stomach if he was breathing on me too closely. And, if you would have asked me before I met Ben if I had relationship or intimacy issues, I would have told you no, absolutely not. I didn't think I had them. But all of these things were just coming up, and he pushed me. He pushed it out of me. He would hold me so close and when I didn't want it. And pushed me through it. And one day I ended up, he was like, we're going to work through this. And he held me so tight and so close, and I just broke down. And I got angry. I had rage stuff. And then I just went into complete, I was just bawling. I was bawling. And ever since then, it hasn't been there. I don't feel the nausea. I want to cuddle with him. It was gone. It cleared. But I had to experience and feel all of those emotions, and they had to boil up to the surface in order for them to be released. So, yeah, we definitely, I feel like we definitely both have pushed each other
like
on purpose.
purposefully pushing each other's button. That's really amazing, because one of the things that in my work with women, with divorced moms who are dating again, and with couples who are, in crisis, it's like what the most common thing that they do that doesn't work in their relationship at all is that they tiptoe around stuff and they walk on eggshells around each other. They walk on eggshells in the beginning of the relationship, in the middle, and all the way to the end.
Right.
And it's such a big risk for them to be honest, to state what they want, to name what they see, to call forth, to push buttons, because they're afraid that the guy or the girl would leave, And so for you guys to you feel like two Mack trucks going at each other.
That's exactly what we were like. Yes, that is what we did together. Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, that is a relationship strategies that many people use. What? Funny.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anybody, the way that we did things, but it worked for us.
Yeah. So you purposefully do this for each other. I wanted to emphasize that really it's on the surface it may look like to each other, but really you're doing this for each other so that the other person can burn through whatever that they need to burn through in this lifetime to show up fully. And so how do you do that, and then how do you recover, and how do you create some softness, some cushion in the relationship so that it's not always so harsh?
Very, very important. That's a good question. So it always comes back to, it has to come back to the softness. If all there is the edges, then all there is more edges. And the thing is it has to be an all-day, everyday practice of loving your partner, of loving the other person. So all day, every day, I am telling Jen how much I love her and how beautiful she is. And even if she pisses me off, and even if she does something to make me go insane, I used to not be able to do this, but it was a practice. And now, if she does something that triggers me, I tell her I love her. I tell her I love her. I go give her a kiss. And, even if I snap at her, I come back and I say, I love you. I look her in the eyes and I tell her how much I love her. And so she knows how much I love her, and she knows that I'm not going anywhere. And, I've actually said to her, you could blow up my motorcycle, burn my house down, and I'm still going to love you unconditionally. Like, I'm still going to love you with all of my heart, And again, it's just a constant practice. Like, if I haven't told Jen I love her in like an hour or two, I'll yell across the house, I love you! And but I'm so drawn to her. It's not just something that I do to, just to maintain that, that 20 loves a day, 20 I love yous a day or whatever. It's like, I am so drawn to that woman. And I consciously generate that attraction to her in my body, and I make that a top priority. So even if something, even if she's driving and I'm like, why isn't she going in the other lane? We're sitting in this long lane, and why don't we go in the fast lane? And then I just have to remind myself, why am I even going there? I love this woman so much, And so I'll feel that, and I'll say, I love you, and I touch her all day long. I touch her thighs, I touch her breasts, I touch her face, I pull her hair, I run my fingers through her hair all day, every day, to remind her how much I love her, so that even when our edges come up, we just smile and say, well, there's an edge.
There's an edge. We got to find. So what I'm hearing there is like, there is not one part of you withholding love. Like, even when you're fighting, you're fighting all in with each other. You're giving it all rather than, there's a lot of people that when they fight, they withhold love. They pull back. They go into stonewalling. They go into, unreachableness, and then they use it to punish the other person.
Yes, beautifully said. And that's exactly what both of us used to do. And so when we first got together, we realized real fast that was just completely unworkable. You can't have a relationship like that. And we weren't progressing. We weren't going anywhere. We weren't working through it. And so that was a decision that both of us had to make, that even when I want to throw something and run away and go hang out at a cafe and answer emails for hours instead of coming home.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here with you, and I'm going to look you in the eyes, and I'm going to tell you I love you, and I'm ready to work through my shit.
It's so hard to do. I mean, we're talking about it like it's such a triumphant thing, like victory talk right now, but in the moment, this stuff is hard. This stuff is just like,
oh my God.
Right?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect at it. There are times where I get pissed and I will walk away and I'll leave. I'll close the front door behind me, and then I'll remind myself, oh yeah, don't fucking leave right now, And then I walk back inside and say, okay, I felt myself taken off. Here I am.
Right. I've done that too. It's like, you got outside and then your head drop and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I love you. And then by the time I come back, after this huge blow up, by the time I come back and say, here, I have a confession to make. Here's what I just did, or here's what I just said. Yeah. She's usually laughing or smiling at the time,
Yeah. And so another thing that I want to touch on too is like, how do you not be cynicism and contempt with each other? Like this pushes a lot of buttons, and I know I have a healthy dose of cynicism in my body that kind of comes out, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I can't seem to get rid of this thing.
Yeah. So cynicism, when cynicism comes up, it's about blame, and it's about victim stuff, and it's about
judgment,
right or wrong.
Yeah.
And so you have to give all that stuff up, and that's the hardest practice in the world.
Yes.
Like our ego is based on staying alive. Like that's what our ego is for, is staying alive.
Survival.
Yeah, it's survival. That's his only job.
Yeah.
And so for survival, it has to figure out right or wrong, and I'm right, she is wrong, and all that. And so it's really this is where the death of the ego comes in. Is that where I feel my cynicism? I realized that it was just a block to my intimacy. Mm-hmm. I realized it was just me creating some story that isn't even true, and even if it was true, it doesn't matter. I used to get really cynical at Jen for using 2 pumps of dish soap instead of 1 pump.
Ben, I know this sounds so weird, but Ben loves soap. He has a soap thing and a olive oil thing, and he's really weird about it.
I love nice olive oil.
He loves nice soap, and he loves nice olive oil, and he doesn't like them wasted. It's a thing. It sounds so funny, but it's actually a thing.
Yeah. I've never heard of anyone has a soap and olive oil fetish before.
Funny,
right? I like nice things. I also have a salt thing. I love nice salt.
He has a salt thing too.
I now know what to get you for Christmas and birthday.
Yeah, soap, olive oil, salt. Good. He's happy.
Well, the reason why I bring that up is because the work of John Gottman and the relationship and the predictor for divorces and stuff like that. It's this whole 4 horsemen when any relationship, when we do these 4 things often and we are unconscious about it and we are not giving it up for Lent around these things, we are in big doo-doo, right? So cynicism is one of them, and defensiveness is another one, and stonewalling and holding contempt toward each other.
Yeah, all I'm hearing is ego.
That's what I was just going to say, too. All of those things are ego. And if we really it's like one thing to say this, but Ben and I really put this into practice, and it doesn't mean we're always doing it, but we really do live it.
That just means you do it a lot and you catch yourself a lot. That's what that
exactly.
means.
We actually live it. We really do practice it regularly. Is that if I'm getting upset or seeded something that, is triggering me, it has nothing to do with him and everything to do with me, and vice versa. Like,
let's repeat that. Let me repeat that. It's like whenever I feel upset because Ben did something or somebody did something, it's not about them. It's about me.
It's all about me. Exactly.
Right.
No one can do anything to you, and no one can make you feel any way.
Yep.
Just like Ben can't give a woman an orgasm. I mean, that's the other thing. No man can give you an orgasm. You give yourself the orgasm,
You allow the orgasm.
You allow the orgasm. Exactly. You allow. That's an even better way of putting it.
I can hear the ego Ben sitting over there. Yeah, but I do.
He's like, I'm really good.
But I'm really good. And
There's power and ownership and, responsibility.
And actually that's the key that's where you get your power back, is by taking responsibility. So by me blaming Jen, that puts me totally at victim, totally at odds, and totally at Jen's mercy. I hope Jen doesn't do this to me again. Oh my God. And so for me to take my power back looks like me saying, okay, what's going on inside of me that is feeling this way? Because if I didn't have a trigger, there would be nothing for Jen to trigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would be an empty vessel. I would be Jesus fucking Christ.
Buddha under that tree.
Yeah, but I'm in this human body, and I get triggered, and so I need to figure out, why am I getting triggered? What is my insecurity? What is my need that's not being met? What is my what is it that's not being fulfilled? What do I need right now? And so it's not about, how do I get Jen to stop doing this thing?
To me.
That's manipulation.
Yeah.
And I love Jen for who she is, and for, all of her. I love her for her beauty. I love her for her dark. I love her for her shit. I love her for the way she treats me. I love her for everything. I chose her for exactly who she is, and I'm committed to being with her no matter how much she pisses me off, because when she pisses me off, I get to learn about myself. I have the opportunity to grow, and so I thank her for pissing me off sometimes. I thank her for it.
Well, yeah, it's like, when you get out of your ego, you go into observer position, you observe what's going on with you, and you're in a neutral position. You can really look at it and go, oh, wow, there's something more to work on. I can expand more. Great, I can grow more. There's a gift. It becomes a gift.
And that doesn't mean that, Jen doesn't have stuff coming up that, that I see. I see Jen's stuff coming up, and she shouldn't do this, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, totally.
I go into my own stuff first, and when my resistance disappears, so does whatever it is that she has that she's been pushing my buttons with.
It's so much fun, and I do want to acknowledge you, Jen. It's like, yes, in the short time that I know you guys, your marriage, your relationship, couple it's like you are so different now, Jen. It's so amazing. Like you're so transparent, so accessible. So I guess that's the testament of all the destroying the egos that you and Ben have been going through.
Thanks, May.
And you had a baby while you're at it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's like you've really been there from, you really came in, when we had just kind of met and gotten together and were really in the midst of it. And so you really have been there to support us and see us go through our transformation. And so thank you for that.
No, and your lightning transformation.
Yeah. And so, the thing is like the antidote to shame is exposure. And so talking about it and being vulnerable about it is the cure for shame, because if she couldn't talk about her stuff, then that's how we would know that there was still shame around it. And when she can just blurt it all out and say, here it is, that's where her power comes in. Oh, and that's another thing that we do in our relationship to, hold ourselves accountable is it's that radical honesty of, like whatever I have that I'm holding against her or whatever game I'm playing, you know, my ego's playing, when I catch my game in the act, I expose myself. I call myself out. I tell Jen, I say, oh my God, here's what I was just doing. I was totally trying to put myself above you and trying to make me, you know, trying to be better than
myself, yeah.
Yep. And she was like, I know.
Oh, you know, that's so sweet.
This stuff always happens. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna go into the entire story, but there was this, you know, she had a blanket that she got from her ex's mom, and I was triggered by it, and so I went out to the garage to get my blanket from my ex that my ex made me, and I got it. It was in a box in the garage, and I was going to bring it inside and, like, you know, make her feel bad about it. And I had it over my shoulder, ready to walk in.
Wait, I'm sorry. I just had to add one thing. It's like suddenly we're not dealing with adults anymore, but now we have two 14-year-old teenagers going at each other.
Oh, yeah. It's children, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Right? I'm a child. So then, like, I caught myself as I'm about to walk inside. I caught myself and started laughing at myself.
Aww.
And I put the blanket away. Actually, I put it in the to-go pile, like in the to-go to charity pile. You know, like I let it go, and I really got to see. Okay, what was it that triggered me about Jen having that blanket?
Yeah.
You know, and I got to confront my own insecurity about, you know, being her favorite. You know, or being the best she's ever had, or whatever.
Right.
And so then I went inside, and it took me a few hours, but eventually, as we're laying in bed to go to sleep, I said, I have something to tell you. I was funny earlier.
So I was adorable.
Yeah. So cute. It was so cute.
And so I said, so remember when you were talking? So I told her everything that happened, and we got to laugh about it. And she said, I can get rid of that blanket. And I said, no, I actually don't want you to get rid of that blanket. Yeah. I am totally okay with the blanket now.
Yep.
Thank you for your willingness to get rid of the blanket. And by the way,
that's not the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the point.
It's not the point at all. And so if I had said, get rid of that blanket, she would have said, fuck you, it's my blanket. I'm keeping this, you know. And I told her, I don't want you to get rid of the blanket. And she actually got rid of it anyway, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
So I wanted, we're almost out of time, so I wanted to make sure that a couple of things we touch on, which is I do want for you guys to tell the world what it is that you do, just in case, you know, they haven't heard you on my show before. But really, I want them to know what you do, and also I want to talk a little bit about this Twin Flames business, and then we have to go. So,
okay.
Tell us what you do, Ben and Jen.
Okay, so real quick, I mean, if you want to find out more about what we do, it's explosivesexualhealing.com. But yeah, we have a business called Explosive Sexual Healing, and just, you know, in a sentence or two, we blow out whatever blocks a woman has to 30 minutes of G-spot orgasm, because whatever those blocks are whatever is holding her back in her life, whether it's being seen or being heard. And so we really help bring in their man, money, and purpose.
Amazing. I am a beneficiary of that. I have done that work myself, and I love them for it. I still have one more session to go, and obviously I have resistance and fear around it, so I haven't done it yet, but I might as well just own it, right? It's so not about time.
We love you, May. We're here for you whenever you're ready.
I know. It's crazy. It's like, come on, May. Just do it. And so it's all, for me, it's all bundled up in there. It's like my scarcity thinking, well, it's one last one. If I use it up, then I won't get any more, so I'm going to just keep it out there.
Hold on to it. Right? It'll multiply.
Exactly. Oh, my God. I can't tell you how many times that strategy backfired on me. Anyway, so those are the kind of things that you get to look at when you work with Ben and Jen. You never know what comes up. Just even the invitation to do the work, and yet, you know, there's my stuff. Voila.
Yeah, and I love that you're talking about, you know, the deep stuff, the dark stuff, because, you know, when we say we have a healing modality that uses 30 minutes of G-spot orgasm, you know, it sounds like this amazing thing. Oh my God, I can have a 30-minute orgasm. But to get to that amazing thing, you have to deal with all your deepest, darkest shit, you know? And, like, you know, so the first several sessions are often not pleasurable or not fun even, you know? until you clear all the blocks, and then all there is joy. That's all that is.
Yeah, and I've been there too. It's amazing. Well, I've always managed to reach the joy part, and it's amazing, and the lightness. And I remember my second session where I just walk away so empty out, like so light. There's nothing left. There's nothing cluttered in my body. There's no negative thought. There's no what if or I'm insecure in the world. There's nothing. It was just like, wow, I'm empty in a good way. I feel so empty. It's so amazing, that sensation to get to. So.
Yeah, it's like that open vessel, right? That divine feminine. I'm open.
Yeah.
So open.
It's just open and emptiness. It's just such a weird word to use, but because it feels like, oh, who wants to be empty, But oh my gosh, I felt empty. That's so cool. So anyway, and the last thing is like, so this is coming from both places actually. I do hear a lot of people are like starving out there for their twin flames, because I think that's the latest hot buzzwords right now around relationships. Before twin flames it was soulmates, and now soulmates are not so hot anymore. Now it's all about twin flames. And frankly, I'm kind of annoyed at that word myself.
Run away from your twin flame.
I know, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of, there's so much misinformation out there on what a twin flame actually is, and a lot of people think they've met their twin flames and just haven't, to be brutally honest. And not just to be clear, a lot of people are here, and everyone has a twin flame, but most of your lifetime, it's actually most common for your twin flame, when you're in physical form, for your twin flame to be one of your guides, and they're actually your love coach, and they actually help you find your different soulmate relationships and guide you in your lifetime. And you guys actually switch off. That's actually most typical and most common. So it doesn't, that's not something that people always want to hear, like, oh, my twin flame might not even be incarnate. They might not be. There's actually it's higher likelihood that they're not.
The reason I want to bring it up is this. It's like I hear a lot of single women, create a new hunger, a new starvation for themselves. Oh, I want my twin flame. Before it was like, oh, I want my soulmate. I wish I had my soulmate. And it's like, stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Go back to wanting your soulmate, please.
No.
Much easier.
Well, let me tell you, soulmate, way easier. You can have a beautiful life. You can learn a lot from each other. It's a wonderful relationship. There's lots of room for growth. And there are different elements of the twin flame relationship, but the one that I want to emphasize that is the biggest element is that it has nothing to do with finding that other half of yourself or whatever people think it is, or yearning or whatever. It's actually all about life purpose. And so that was the thing that kept drawing Ben and I back together, actually, was our business and was the work that we were doing. So, if there's any confusion around that, it really has nothing to do with you and everything to do with planetary shifting consciousness and the doing the deep work with each other, to do work with other people. It's a life agreement to do, work with that person. So if you think you've met your twin flame and there's no way in hell you're going to be doing work together or be on purpose together, they're not your twin flame. There's not.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about.
It's so, I love the distinction, because, please don't look at twin flames like through your romantic lens, or your needy, or I want to be fulfilled and I need the other half of me. Oh my God, I'm looking at your relationship. I'm like, that's way too much work for me in this lifetime. I like my relationship.
Yeah.
I'm happy with my greatest love affair. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's beautiful, and there's so much room for growth. And I mean, absolutely. So yeah, it is not for everybody, let me tell you.
Yeah,
it's not for everybody.
It's not something that, you earn a Girl Scout badge if you get a twin flame.
No.
Something that you can strive for in looking for a relationship. It's like, dude, really, do you want to invest that much into every moment of your day to really serve this relationship? What I'm hearing from both of you is that, man, you really got called for to serve this relationship rather than you're in it to serve yourself.
Yeah. So the only reason we worked through it, we were able to kill our ego, kill our old ego. Now we have new ones to kill again.
Right, because that's what ego does. It keeps
ego dies and reincarnates, right? I mean, we're in bodies. We still have egos. There's just new egos.
So the only way that we were only to trust, commit, and surrender and allow our egos to die was because we had a higher calling, because we had a higher purpose. And we get a lot of people that write in or call in and say, I have my twin flame, and they think that they're the twin flame just because they hate each other and just because they have this crazy, tumultuous relationship.
Or crazy attraction or chemistry or, those elements can be in a twin flame relationship.
But love, by the way.
But not,
Yeah, but that you can have all that stuff in a soulmate relationship or just a shitty relationship.
Yeah, just a shitty relationship.
Like, not to be confused. And so the twin flame stuff is, it's the hardest. It's going to be the hardest fucking thing you will ever do in your entire life if this is in your contract this time. And if honestly, if I would have known how amazingly difficult it was going to be when I signed up for this relationship with Jen, I would have run. I would have not signed the papers. I would have run, and I would have never come back.
Well, yeah, because that keep your perfect ego of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was great. I love my ego.
All right. Well, thank you.
I don't even like looking at pictures of myself from 2 years ago.
Oh no! Well, wait a minute. Then there's something there to reclaim, because you know what? You were just as gorgeous and beautiful in your own, ignorant ways then.
Thank you, May.
It's almost embarrassing looking back on it. All the things that I thought were right.
You did the best that you can. I mean, I heard this from my own teacher, and I loved her for it, which is, she said, true leadership is when you just give yourself full permission to do everything, to be all that you can be today, and risking that when you turn 80s and you look back and you go, God, I was full of shit then. That is true leadership.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Love that. That's great, man.
I love it.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. I love this call. I can't wait to share it with all of my clients, because I think we hit on some really beautiful, honest stuff around what makes a relationship work, how do you get off your ego crap so that you can really find each other, what does it really mean to be a partner with each other instead of pulling that bullshit card that I'm out of here kind of crap, that we use to manipulate and control each other. And no more stonewalling, and no more cynicism and all that craziness, like really give the other person all of your marbles, and do it from a place of being really powerful about it.
And not losing your marbles.
And not
be okay with losing your marbles.
Be okay with losing your marbles. Yeah.
Anyway, you can find me at may@mayvucoach.com. I work with divorced moms who are dating again and wanting hot love, hot career, and hot children in their life. And go to my website, may@mayvucoach.com, MAIVUCOACH. And I will look forward to, and if you guys think of other couples who are, really embodying and living, practicing what it takes to create hot love with each other, let me know. I'm making a collection of hot love stories. Thanks, Ben and Jen. Bye.
Thank you.
There's always time for sex.
There's always time for sex. And never withhold sex or love.
Ever. Even when you're angry, you should have sex.
Yeah, please have sex. Get it out. Take it out of the bedroom. Yeah.
Sex is not relationship. Sex is just sex. So do it. It's like breathing, eating. You got to do that stuff. So have good sex. Have sex with each other. All right. Thanks, honey. Bye.
Bye, mate.
Bye. Loved her.